Maxx Crosby is back a Raider for now. And let's talk about the press conference with the new free agent signings for the Raiders coming up. I2G Radio. What's good, everybody? It's your boy D Nice with I2G Radio, back at it with another pod, Las Vegas Raiders podcast. Urge everyone, like, comment, and subscribe to I2G Radio, the letter I, the number 2, the letter G Radio, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can also check out the Viva Las Raiders podcast, where this will also be played on YouTube. Word Viva, word Las, LAS, and Raiders with an S. But let's get right into it. It has been a event-filled week of, as I like to say again, the most Vivian Green team in any sport, the Las Vegas Raiders. The emotional roller coaster for all my R&B heads that are very familiar with Vivian Green. It's never a dull moment with this team. Maxx Crosby announced last night that he is back with the Raiders. Shout out to Ryan McFadden for this on ESPN. All-Pro edge rusher Maxx Crosby expressed his commitment to the Las Vegas Raiders on Wednesday night. In his first public comments since the Ravens nixed a trade that would have sent him to Baltimore. It was a classic X-post, showed Undertaker busting out of a casket for all my WWE wrestling heads. Everything happens for a reason. Crosby wrote in a post on X, "Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. I'm a Raider, I'm back, run that shit." Crosby's post came just days after he bid an emotional farewell to the Raiders, whom he had played for since 2019, and expressed excitement about joining the Ravens after they agreed to acquire him in exchange for 2 first-round picks, including the 14th pick in the NFL draft in the first round for this year. On Tuesday night, Raiders announced the Ravens backed out of a trade agreement, with sources telling ESPN it was due to medical concerns that arose during a physical in Baltimore. You guys know all the rest. It's all over the news. This is one of, if not the top sports topics going on right now. But I was happy to see Max back. I can understand a lot of Raider fans. I can understand both sides of it. You know, Max had been here for a while and has seen a lot of coaches and a lot of promises on what they could or could not do. Really never came to fruition. Was getting very frustrated and, had asked for a trade behind the scenes. Raiders had stated, he didn't want to trade Maxx Crosby, but, there's always a good opportunity that comes across. We will definitely listen to all offers. Offer came out with Baltimore, due to failed physical, did not go through. It's pretty cut and dry for me. Max is back. Now we'll see how long this lasts. If the Raiders are a complete dumpster fire midway through the trade deadline, is that something that gets revisited? It'll be interesting to see moving forward what he does with his contract, if he's extended. You can kind of if you get a restructure, can kind of help and assist with that salary cap. But I'll get furthermore into the free agents here in a minute. We'll just talk a little bit more, just raw emotions of what's going on here, having Maxx Crosby back. Salute to John Spytek. So many times you see with star players, front office, there's news leak that's disparaging comments about the player, news link disparaging comments about the front office, and it just kind of becomes a messy divorce played out live and on TV. Spytek was very calm, very even keel, didn't over or underreact or anything of that nature. Great businessman. You're not hearing all of these quotes and comments from him coming out. He's been extremely consistent. And in all honesty and looking back, it was good that the Raiders did shut down Max those last 2 games. I know he was mad and upset about that, but in the long run, I think that was the best move for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, moving forward, do they do that? I don't really want to get into that. We're not even into the season or into the draft at this point. But one thing I can say that John Spytek did the short amount of time that Maxx Crosby was gone, and even while he was still here, he made a lot of free agent moves and a lot of free agent signings. All of these that I am very excited about. And speaking of, the free agents had their press conference. Raider fans, in typical our PTSD fashion, had to wait a little bit as far as for Tyler Linderbaum to be announced and to be signed. But Nakobe Dean is signed. Jalen Naylor is signed. You also have Kwity Paye also signed. Quay Walker and Walker, Paye, Linderbaum, and Naylor all had their introductory press conferences a couple hours ago. All of them spoke. Kind of some of the highlights, Jalen Naylor went to Bishop Gorman High School here locally. So that was definitely cool to see, a guy be able to come home and play for his home team. Is definitely excited about that. They asked him about the possibility of playing with Fernando Mendoza. He also said he was excited about that. And kind of the media trying to get a head start on this draft. I still think that the Raiders will draft Fernando Mendoza, but nothing's set in stone. You can just tell by this whole situation the last couple of days. Tyler Linderbaum also was asked about his thoughts on what's going on with Baltimore. Basically, he gave a no comment, said he was excited to play here and play for Clint Kubiak, play for the Raiders, and get into the playbook, which you always love to hear. He's a big-time addition to this offensive line. I think this offensive line is going to do some special things this year, which means Ashton Genty is going to do some special things this year as well. The one I'm excited about the most is Kwity Paye. There were a lot of Raider fans after Maxx Crosby came back thought that there were going to be contracts be voided and players would not be re-signed to make more room for Maxx Crosby. As insiders had said yesterday, they said the Raiders would fulfill all of their contracts and there would not be any players that would not have their contracts fulfilled. So again, bit of red flags and panic going up to a lot of fans up until they've seen a lot of these players in their introductory press conference. But I think Kwity Paye is going to be a vital chess piece in this 3-4 defense. He can play either on the edge opposite Maxx Crosby, or if you want to go Malcolm Kuntz, if you want to have him as a stand-up linebacker, you can have that as well. But he's going to be a big-time cog in this defense, especially against the run, and it's going to allow some of that pressure. You're going to have to alleviate some of that pressure now because you've got Nakobe Dean, you've got Quay Walker. These guys are good coverage linebackers, but they can also blitz well. So really, if you can get, you don't need, 10 or 15 sacks from Kwity Paye. You also have Malcolm Kuntz. Let's say those guys combined can give you, 10 to 15 sacks opposite Max. That's going to take a lot of interior pressure, double teams, even sometimes triple teams that Max was seeing. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. This is a well-balanced defense. Really, the only thing they're missing is a defensive tackle, which I think they will address within the first 3 rounds of the draft this year, as well as bring in a veteran. DJ Reader is still out there. Still have a couple more pickups in the secondary. I'm hearing it's about anywhere from 30 to 37 million. I would say about 20 of that you might need for to sign your draft picks. So I'm expecting the Raiders kind of do a little bit more below the radar signings here as they're coming up. Kirk Cousins was released, hearing rumors. People saying possibly he could be signed here. Stephon Diggs had a visit here to the Raiders. Raiders still do need a number 1 wide receiver. And I think that would really round out, as I've said many a times, this wide receiver room. You've got a little bit of everything. You've got tall receiver in Dante Thornton, which people have almost completely forgot about. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance here in year 2. Jack Besh. You've got Trey Tucker. Just those 3 guys alone, very diverse wide receivers, but kind of not kind of. They definitely underachieved a bit this year. Trey Tucker had a solid season, though. And you're adding to Brock Bowers. Like I said, I'm not a big Stephon Diggs fan, but it makes a lot of sense. Now, to me, what also makes a lot of sense is Trayvon Diggs, ex-Cowboy and Packer. He is also a free agent. But these guys are going to come with a kind of a pricey price tag, and the Raiders are a little bit penny pinching at this point. People have asked about the money possibly to get back from the Christian Wilkins release. I'm not expecting that moving forward. So you might hear of a restructure, and restructure I can see possibly with Colton Miller. I don't know how the contract situation works as far as with Maxx Crosby now back, or if that's something he's open to doing, or how that's going to play moving forward. I'm sure he will get some type of, if he's here to stay, some type of an extension or something to where they can work that contract to kind of get a little bit more wiggle room with the salary cap. That's something definitely to keep an eye on. Jaquan Brisker, also still out there, safety. I know he has some issues, some health issues, concussions as well. Maybe a 1-year prove-it deal, you never know. But he is also still out there. Rashad White from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that'd be a good 1-2 punch with Ashton Genty. Again, these are all positions you might be able to tackle in the draft. But now, with 11 picks, I also look for Spy Tech to trade back and get more picks to fill out this roster. You need a kicker, maybe Zapata from Michigan, possibly. But I think there's definitely going to be a camp battle with Matt Gay for kicker. We've spoken about that yesterday on the pod. Definitely something to look out for as well. But I'm really liking the how this Raiders team is filling out and just how they did in free agency. I know I'm being biased, but I think maybe second to the Commanders. Commanders have made a slew of moves here in the last 2 days and have really added a lot of depth and got a lot younger, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But Raiders have had a phenomenal free agency period here this week, even minus the Maxx Crosby, getting traded, trade nixed, being back, now adding him in the mix, get a fully healthy Maxx Crosby. He is going to be an absolute beast. Just from a motivation standpoint, what more motivation do you need than what's happened with him? This is day 4 of free agency. Now the official day 2 of free agency. Legal tampering period, of course, opened up on Monday. So a lot of these moves that were announced earlier in the week are now official as you have pen to paper. But as always, all your hip-hop wants and needs, Illuminati2G.com, word Illuminati, number 2, letter G.com. You can also, we have a section for this I2G Radio podcast, and it will have all of these in Spotify and also Apple Podcast format. Check us out. Again, I2G Radio, letter I, number 2, letter G Radio. Got a lot of things going on. We'll also have a site that's also growing with our group, R&B Rhythms, as well. Check that out, rnbrhythms.info. And also westcoastaftershock.com. Has a lot of political news, a lot of sports, just all around good news website, but it is born and bred on West Coast. We will also be having I2G Radio, the Las Vegas Raiders podcast. Those YouTube videos will also be on Illuminati2G.com, but will also be on westcoastaftershock.com. So urge everybody to check it out. A lot of West Coast hip-hop news as well on that site. If you like WCNN, you'll love West Coast Aftershock. So, D-Nice, I2G Radio signing off. Again, any more signings between now and the end of the week, we will definitely be on and talk about it. Any more breaking news, although I don't know if I can take any more breaking news from the Raiders. I kind of hold my breath every time I get an alert from ESPN or see something that pops up. Definitely spending some time with family, but if I can check in and see what's going on, I'll definitely link in with you guys and let you know and tap in. But D Nice I2G Radio signing off. Peace.